Hi guys, welcome to another mini lesson video. This one is on your math for this week. It is measuring length and plotting data on line plots. So really the two things that you need to take away from this lesson in this video are just how to measure something using a ruler, measuring length. So just the length of something. We've done filling up cups, we've done other types of measuring, but this one is measuring how long something is. And then plotting the data on a line plot. So the kind that have X's above each line based on how many items you have. So we're going to go through both of those today. I have a couple screenshots for you based on your quiz and your tutorial. Hopefully you are able to take some information away from this. And then if you still have questions, please let me know. So I'm going to start with the beginning of the tutorial. Right here, it has measuring line length and plotting data on line plots. This first part is just measuring length. So everything ruler. When you see this ruler here, or anytime you see a math problem that has a ruler and you have to measure length, just think of the ruler as a number line, which we have done plenty and plenty of number lines in class. So when you see this ruler, I'm going to get my little pencil out. When you see this ruler, I want you to think of it like a number line. 0 to 1, 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 4, so on and so forth. My humps are not that good right on the lines, but you kind of get what I'm saying. And each little mark is actually going to be a different fraction. So if you look at just this piece right here, the 0 to 1, and each set, if you remember when we did sets, how many pieces are there between the 0 and the 1? So I want you to count them. 1, 2, 3. There's 4 sections. There's 3 lines, but there's 4 sections. 1 here, 2 here, 3 here, 4 here. So there's 4 total sections, which means that this is broken into fourths. So each inch is broken into fourths. And as you can see from this picture here, it is traveling 2 of those 4. So your answer would be 2 fourths because there's 4 total and you've traveled 2 of them. If I had a dot that was here, for example, between the 3 and the 4, I would need to know that it would be 3 and 1, 2. 3 wholes and 2 out of 4. So it's kind of similar from what we did, except for in this lesson, we're doing mixed numbers, which means you have a whole here, like my 3 is, and you have a little baby fraction. So it's like how many dollars and change. I think of it like the change, like the coins. The whole number, in this case, the 3, that's like your dollar bill. That's how many holes you have. In this case, this dot has 3 holes because I've traveled 1 hole, 2 hole, 3 holes. And I still have 2 out of 4 that I still traveled. So it's 3 holes and then 2 out of 4. And you can do this with any fraction. It's a little bit different because in class we did the large fractions, like we did 4 fourths, 8 fourths, 12 fourths, and 14 fourths. That's what we did in class. And 14 fourths is still correct. But instead of writing such a large number on the top, iReady is having you guys learn mixed numbers. So a mixed number is when you have how many holes in the front. So like whole pizzas, which in this case we have 3. Let me just wipe this off. In this case we have 3 holes. 1, 2, 3. With my dot there, of course. If my dot was there, we'd have 3 holes and then 2 baby jumps after that. For this one, this problem, it's very easy. You're just traveling 2 out of 4. 2 out of 4. And I know that fourths are at the bottom because each hole is broken into fourths, just like that. So I'm going to go to the next one. The next screenshot I have is measuring this length right here, where it has 1/4, 2/4, 3/4. It should be very similar to the one that we just did. In this case, you are just counting how many jumps. 1/4, 2/4, 3/4. And it looks like that's where the 3/4 is at. So it is 3/4 for this one. And let's see what the next one is. You hear Mila in the back. So I want you to look at this one. And the biggest thing when it comes to rulers and measuring length is that your ruler lines up with the zero, just like this one does. As you can see, it's right on the zero. It's not all the way to this line, because if you can see, that would actually throw it off a little bit. It needs to be lined up with the zero line itself, the actual line of the zero, okay? So make sure when you're measuring that, you measure straight to the zero mark. And in this case, we're doing whole numbers again. So there's 4.5 is option 1, 3.5, or 5.5. So remember, if you have a big number in front, those are wholes. So in this case, have we traveled 4 wholes and then a halfway to 5? In this case, we have. But the other options, let's check those. 3.5 is option number 2. So if I traveled 3.5, I would end 1, 2, 3 holes, and then I would go halfway to the number 4. 3.5 would leave me there, which is not right in this case. And then my last option is to go 5.5. And the reason why I'm saying it and a half is because it's 5 and then some more. So it has to be actually past the 5 in order for it to be 5.5. It would have to be 5 total holes. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then another half. So if it's not 5.5, it is 4.5. 4 and some change, just like that. All right, so let's see what the next one is. So this caret one, I quizzed, or I stopped it on there because I think this can be a little bit confusing with the question marks. So remember, the number that's out in front is your whole number. So I want to know, what's the last big number that hit here? What's the last big number that it hits? Does it go to the 5? It does not. It does not go to the 5, which means that you're going to be left with the whole number 4. So it does have 4 and something else. So I know my 4 is going to go right here because it's only traveled 4 holes. It has not traveled 5 holes yet. And then I do have some extra change, as I call it. So it's 4 and some. So let's check. So once we're at the 4, how many more do I travel? Let's see how many total there are. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's out of 4. So it's 4 and then fourths on the bottom. How many have I actually traveled, though? Sorry, my camera. So how many has it actually traveled? Let's change my pencil here. It's traveled 1, 2, 3 out of the 4. So I've gone 4 holes because that's my big number, 4 holes, and then I've traveled another 3 out of 4. And I know it's fourths because that's what these are broken into. Fourths each time. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's an easy way to check to see what your bottom number should be. Is it fifths? Is it sixth? Usually for third grade standards, we are doing fourths, sometimes halves. And remember that 2, I'll show you here. 2, whoops, I need my pencil. Just a quick way to remind you that 2 fourths, that was not good. 2 fourths is the same as 1/2. So if I'm here, 1/2 is the same as 2 fourths. And the reason for that is they're equivalent fractions, which you should know by now. If we multiply the top and the bottom by 2, I get 2 fourths, just like that. So that is very helpful as well, to know how to have a number out in front and then a little baby number underneath. So those are, you're going to be seeing a lot of mixed numbers here with iReady. So make sure that you have practiced that and that you've really listened to the tutorial as they're telling you. I have 3 more things to show you real quick. So the first thing that I'm going to show you with line plots, and sorry, Mila is here distracting me. So I have a line plot of information here, this data. And really when it comes to putting it on a line plot, all you need above each number is an X for however many of those you have. So if I have, if you have, you can. If you have a 3 here and I have only 1 3, I would put 1 X right above the 3. If I have 2 that are 3.5, it looks like I actually have 3 that are 3.5, I would put 3 X's or 3 marks above 3 and 1/2. So that would be how you do that. If you have 1 here, I have 2, as you can see, that are 3.25. So I would make 2 marks above 3.25, just like this. 1, 2. And usually they're X's above there. So I have 1, 3. So I'm putting an X there. I have 3 3.5. Mila wants to say hi. Say hi. 3 3/4. I don't see any. And then 4, I do have 1. So this would be exactly how it is. So I'm gonna go grab something for her real quick. But this would be how the line plot looks, which means that it would be 2 marks above 3.25 right there. I have 2 more quick things to show you. Same thing here. You are imagining putting marks above these numbers based on how many that you have. However, this one is asking for which number line is correct. So as you can see from this one, it jumps from 2 holes to 1 hole over here. So I don't think that this one would actually be correct. So make sure when you're looking at these, make sure that number 1, like the first thing you should look for is that all the numbers make sense and that they're in order. And the second thing you should look for is that you are representing the biggest number, which is 2, and the smallest number, which in this case is 3/4, because it's less than 1. 3/4 is not 1 hole yet. It's less than 1. So in this case, 3/4 is the smallest, 2 is the biggest. I need to make sure that both of those numbers are shown here in my answer that I choose. So make sure that your answers are going in order. Should you jump from 1 3/4 to 2 to 2.25 to 2.5? This one looks like it's in order, but do I have a spot to put 3/4? If I start at 1 3/4, I'm already almost to 2. So make sure that you have really looked at these and see where those numbers would fit. Okay. So again, the ones, the big numbers, the 0, the 1, the 2, and the 3, etc. Those are all your whole numbers. And then the little ones in between, like just like this, you have 1 and something, 1 and something else, 1 and something else, and then the 2. So you are breaking it up into fourths, even though you are getting bigger each time. So make sure that you're checking it here. This goes from 1 3/4 to 2, and then goes back down to 1. So this one doesn't really make that much sense. Okay, 1 second. The last one I'm going to show you here is you're basically doing exactly the same thing as what I showed you with the X's. And you're just going to make that many marks based on how many you have here. So if you have 2 that say 2.25, you should have 2 marks above that. All right. So I'm going to wish you guys good luck. And if you have any questions, please let me know. You're covering. Mila is getting very antsy. But if you guys have questions or anything, please let me know and have your parents write to me, or you can write to me in the Google Classroom. All right. I'll see you guys later. Bye.